Joining us live this morning, Congressman President Trump is saying that Iran is still looking to make a deal here. At the same time, we've seen an expansion of military operations and some talks of troops on the ground. The U.S. obviously retaliating after we see 2 deaths, one service member still missing, 4 others injured. Where do you see this conflict going, and do you think even negotiations are somewhere in the near future when you have such turmoil?
Good Sunday morning to you both. Thanks for having me. I think the economic pressure and the military pressure that we continue to put on Iran will force something to break on the inside, hopefully. And, especially now that we see that, Iran is not just attacking Israel, our ally, in the Middle East. They're attacking Jordan. They've attacked Bahrain. They've attacked the UAE, and they've attacked Kuwait and other countries there. So I think the longer this goes, the more the coalition's going to build within the Middle East and around Iran, that they're on an island. And my belief is that eventually you keep this pressure on, that something will break in the inside. There's going to be somebody, hopefully, that says, hey, we need to rethink our strategy and sit down and negotiate with President Trump and the administration. But again, we have to remember the IRGC, they are zealots. They are true believers. They are willing to die for what they believe. And the hatred that they have for other countries in the region and their ultimate goals they're willing to die for that. So I think that's why it's so hard to negotiate with them. And President Trump's going to just continue to keep this pressure on, which I think will hopefully get us down the road sooner rather than later.
So, Congressman, midterms rapidly approaching here. How concerned should Republicans be with the issue of affordability, gas prices? We have American casualties with this war in Iran. It seems to be dragging on. Negotiations are on, they're off. How concerned should the Republicans be about their performance in the midterms with all of this?
Yeah, obviously it's a concern. I mean, with the war in Iran, that probably will continue for a while. The Iranians know this. They want to see this carry on longer to try to put a hurt on President Trump and Republicans in the midterms. But I can tell you again, I was just at an event last night with constituents, and I hear from mothers of military men and women who say, we know the Iranians. Let's finish the job. It's not easy. We have to do this though for the long term. But I think what is going to happen as well is, buyers and sellers of gas are starting to look elsewhere to get their supply for their buyers. And actually, it's helping the United States. We're seeing an increase in selling because it's too risky to buy out of the Persian Gulf. And that's what's going to hurt the Iranians as well in the long run. If they don't get a deal done, they're going to lose their buyers who would traditionally go into the Persian Gulf to buy oil and gas. They're looking elsewhere. They're going to look to, of course, the United States. As Venezuela comes online more and more, there's going to be new opportunities for sellers to sell rather than it coming out of the Persian Gulf. So I think that will help stabilize gas prices here in the United States. It's just taken some time for transition to happen for those new buying and shipping lanes to open up.
Yeah, Congressman Marlin Stutzman, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
And plenty more to come on